What the fuck is up? Someone's in the shower, so I'm gonna. Wait, am I live? Did I go live? Okay, now it's live? I don't know. I don't know technology. I'm old. But what the fuck is up? Someone's taking a shower right now, so I can't shower. So let's do this. You thought we were done with this, but I'm back. Like, a month later. Let's go. Gamer Girl by Mari Mancusi. Chapter 4. In what state of mind is Romeo when we first meet him? Monday morning, and I was in English class, sketching in the margins of my notepad while our teacher drilled us on the finer points of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Anyone? Miss Riley asked, looking over the rows of bored students. Naive impression that she could actually make a difference in her students' lives. Of course, soon enough, she'd realize her role here was little more than glorified babysitter, and she'd start practicing the method the old school teachers favored, like wheeling in a television and letting us watch the movie version of whatever was on the curriculum that week. That's true, my teacher did do that for Romeo and Juliet. Come on, did anyone do this weekend's reading assignment? I did, nerd that I am. Not that I needed to. I'd read the play 4 times over the last 3 years and had seen both the 1986 movie and the way cool Leonardo DiCaprio / Claire Danes modern update. There was just something about the tragic love story that really spoke to me. Okay. But that didn't mean I was going to raise my hand and call attention to myself. I had enough notoriety at Hannah Dustin High already, thank you very much. A crumpled piece of paper bounced onto my desk. I didn't have to turn around to know Billy and his cronies were responsible. Ever since that first day in school, when Grandma had told all his friends about his bedwetting problem, he'd made it his life's mission to annoy and embarrass me. And he and his hater friends were damn good at the job. I'd had my lunch tray tipped over 4 times, countless spitballs in my hair, my locker superglued shut, and my clothes stolen from my gym locker and stuffed down the toilet. All in the span of 3 weeks. While I had never been the most popular girl back in my old school, at least I had my circle of friends. Girls to giggle with in the hallways, and boys to pass notes to in class. Now I had no one. Not even my old friends, who were too wrapped up in their own daily lives to ever remember to call me back. And when they eventually did, they had new stories and new inside jokes, ones I didn't know or understand. I'd hang up the phone after talking to them, feeling even more alone than before. Against my better judgment, I unfolded the paper. Someone had drawn a picture of a vampire girl that was obviously supposed to be me. The words "Freak Girl" were printed in big block letters across the page. Jerks. I crumpled up the paper in my fist, my face burning. Laughter erupted from the back of the classroom. I forced myself not to turn around, even though I wanted nothing more than to give Billy the finger. "And pray tell what is so funny, William?" demanded Miss Redley, suddenly stopping her lessons. Did she name the teacher with red hair Miss Redley? Ew. She made her way through the rows of desks until she reached my nemesis and his gang. I stole a glance. All the boys had immediately donned poker faces. Innocent angels, a lot of them. "Nothing, Miss Riley," they chimed. Oh, it's Miss Riley. That was a typo earlier on. "Nothing, Miss Riley," they chimed. She turned to me. "Were these boys bothering you, Maddie?" she queried. I squirmed in my seat. Oh, great. This was the last thing I needed. Teacher intervention. "No, Miss Riley." Excuse me. "No, Miss Riley," I said, silently begging her to go back to her lesson. "Don't make it worse," I prayed. "Please don't make it worse." She narrowed her eyes. Of course she didn't believe me. She held out her hand, and I reluctantly handed over the vampire drawing. After a brief inspection, she turned back and looked straight at Billy. "Wow, someone's quite the artist," she remarked pointedly. "Would you like to tell me who drew this?" Billy's friends started laughing. Billy hissed at them to shut up. Miss Riley turned back to me. "Madeline," she said, "did William throw this at you?" I grimaced, realizing my predicament. I didn't want to lie, especially not to Miss Riley, who was cool and interesting, and tried hard to be a good teacher. But on the other hand, I wasn't a snitch. And the last thing I wanted The last thing I wanted was to piss off Billy even more. Excuse me. It would only end badly for me. I made my decision. No, I don't know who drew it, I said, sinking lower into my seat and praying she'd take my answer without pressing me further. Miss Riley looked down at me for a moment, silent pity clear in her eyes. Great. She felt bad for me. Could I get any more pathetic? I know who drew it. Heads turned to the opposite side of the room. Matt, the hipster kid I met my first day here, was madly waving his hand in the air, ignoring Billy's death look. It was Billy. I need to change his voice because he's a little snitch. It was Billy Henderson, he announced, triumph clear in his voice. I smiled a little. He was the only person I'd seen so far who dared stand up to the haters. Probably because he was the only person who didn't buy into their whole high school royalty thing to begin with. Now he's just a snitch and a punk. I decided to make an effort to talk to him later. After all, he definitely had good friend potential. Shut up, and here Mary Mancusi uses a homophobic slur that I won't be reading out loud. Billy retorted, glowering at the tattletailer. Miss Riley's head pivoted sharply. William, she scolded, watch your language. Billy opened his mouth to retort, but evidently thought better of it. Sorry, he muttered. I noticed Matt give him a friendly wave from behind Miss Riley's back, and stifled a giggle. Billy, I want you to go down to the principal's office and explain your need to express yourself artistically in class, the teacher ordered. Perhaps we could sign you up for after-school art classes or something. Now the whole class was laughing. Billy scowled at the teacher, but didn't object. The bell rang and everyone jumped up, eager to leave so they could go out in the halls and gossip about the whole thing to their friends. I gathered my books as quickly as possible, trying to get out of there before Billy came down the aisle. Also, I wanted to find Matt and thank him for coming to my rescue. Madeline, could I talk to you for a moment before you leave? Miss Riley asked. My shoulders slumped. So much for that plan. Yeah, sure, I said, seeing no other option. Billy pushed past me to exit, deliberately knocking my Romeo and Juliet book from my hands. It fell to the floor and he stamped on it with a dirty boot, ripping the cover. Oh, I'm sorry, he said loudly. Under his breath, he added, You're so dead, freak girl. Okay, but that would be a school-issued book. This isn't your book. I sighed. I should have known, even though I'd kept my mouth shut, and it was Matt who saw fit to sell him out, that Billy was still going to blame me. I reached down and picked my book up off the floor. Miss Riley walked over to me and sat down at the desk beside me. I've, really got to get to my next class, I tried. I'll write you a pass. Sigh. Okay. I sank down into my chair. Miss Riley smoothed out Billy's drawing on the desk, shaking her head. He's not a very good artist, is he? She remarked. In fact, I think I've seen kindergarten finger painters with more talent. I chuckled, despite myself. I took the drawing from her. It really was pretty hideous. Yeah, he has zero sense of composition, I analyzed. And his lines are all shaky. Composition, he drew a fucking stick figure, relax. You gotta have a scene to have composition. There's no way he drew a background. Calm down. Miss Riley looked pointedly at me. You, on the other hand, I hear are really good. Mr. Thomas was telling me about the manga sketches you did for him the other day. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. I felt my face heat. The art teacher talked about me to the other teachers? I'm okay, I guess, I replied, recrumpling Billy's stupid drawing. I mean, it's something I like doing. Well, I would love to see some of your stuff sometime, Miss Riley said. If you don't mind showing me, I really love manga. No, you don't. No, you don't. I was surprised. Most adults didn't even know what manga was, and if they did, they dismissed it as comic book trash. Oh, this is a challenging chapter. Sure, I guess. I never had anyone to show my drawings to. My friends back in Boston didn't really care, My parents only oohed and awed because that's what parents were supposed to do when a child makes an effort to express herself. But Miss Riley seemed genuinely interested. Kind of cool. The teacher leaned forward. Maddie, I know high school can be a tough time, especially when you're new. Believe me, I know. Aha! I knew this conversation really wasn't about art. Sorry, wasn't really about art. I'm fine, I replied automatically. I so did not want to get into it all with her, no matter how much she appreciated manga. She sighed. You're very bright, and creative, and sweet. She reached over and patted me on the arm. Look, I'm here for you if you want to talk. About anything. And whatever you say to me stays here, in the vault. I won't tell your parents or the principal. Well, I'm here if you need a friend. I knew she was trying to help, that she was sincere, but it was just too hard. I mean, what was I supposed to say? Tell her about everyone thought I was a freak and that I had no friends? Yeah, right. I felt tears well up in my eyes and swiped them away. Thanks, I mean, that's nice of you, but I'm fine, really. I shifted in my seat, swallowing back the lump in my throat. Can I go now? She studied me for a moment, her face sad. Why did she care so much? Yes, you can go now, she said at last. But my offer remains open, okay? And don't forget, I want to see your art sometime soon. Okay. I jumped up from the seat and made a dash for the exit. It was nice of her to offer to talk, but at the end of the day, she was a grown-up, a teacher. She would never understand. No one would. Let's go on. Chapter 5. Hey, freak girl, what you doing? Lunchtime on Thursday, later that week. I looked up to see Billy and the haters approaching the I still can't get over that it's the haters with a capital H. That's incredible. Approaching the cafeteria table. I'd deliberately chosen a seat in the very back, away from their crowd, so I could lay low and work on my manga. I was drawing a portrait of Alora, my gamer girl, but a seat on Mars wouldn't have been far enough away for Billy, especially not after Monday's incident in English class. Yeah, freak girl, why are you back here by yourself? No friends? Flanking Billy with the rest of the haters, of course. Rarely did you see one stray far from the pack. They even took a lot of the same classes. Lucy was dressed in her requisite cheerleading captain's outfit. I swear she wore it, even when they didn't have practice, just for status. Chelsea had on some kind of flimsy? Some kind of flimmy? I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be flimsy. This edible's starting to hit, I'm sorry. Flimsy pink baby doll dress that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe put together. She came from old money, I learned, and liked to tell people that her ancestors came over on the Mayflower, as if that were some big accomplishment that automatically made her cool. Because, like, Pilgrim chicks were so the it girls of their time. And then there was Chad. Yes, I was still sporting that pathetic, hopeless crush on the kid. I knew it was wrong. He was way out of my league, and not even really my type. Caitlin would have had a field day if she knew, telling me to go for a skater or something and leave the Aber Zombie to the cheerleaders. But I couldn't help it. I couldn't shake the butterflies that danced a disco beat in my stomach every time he came near. Pathetic, but true. Hey, Okay. Hey, horny, I'm talking to you, Billy said, as if it weren't obvious. He liked to mix up my nicknames. Horny? Oh, because of the unfortunate first day unicorn shirt. That's probably not it. Freak. Vamp was a particular favorite as well, as he would claim there was no way someone who wore as much black as I didn't turn into a bat and bite people's neck during a full moon. I once tried to tell him that the full moon thing was for werewolves, dogs like himself, but he didn't even get the insult, and eventually just gave up. It went over much better in my manga. Every time that gets me. Oh no. Oh, I smudged my glasses. Whew. Nothing, I muttered, going back to my drawing. Maybe if I ignored them, they'd get bored and go away. Not today, it seems. It doesn't look like nothing, noted Lucy. It looks like you're drawing something. Wow, you got me there, I replied, setting down my paintbrush. Her paintbrush? Excuse me? Hold on, what? No, what? No. No. What? No. You can't do that. In the lunchroom? Why are you painting manga with a paint? What are you doing? What is this? Okay, we have to move forward. You're amazingly perceptive, Lucy. Why do the people in your drawings have such big eyes? Chelsea picked up my sketch and gave it a disdainful look. It's like freaky. It's Japanese style, I defended, not knowing why I bothered. That's how they're supposed to look. Let me see. Billy ripped it out of Chelsea's hands. He started laughing. Wow, you suck, vamp girl. And I don't mean blood either. I'd had enough. Give it back, I commanded, rising up from my seat to grab my picture. He held it up beyond my grasp. Or what? What are you going to do? Turn me into a toad? He taunted. Please, I begged. The paint's still wet. You'll smudge it. You can't be painting in the lunchroom. You can't. You can't. The second the words left my mouth, I'd realized I made a huge mistake. Smudge it? Billy crowed, dragging his fingers down the picture, smearing the art I'd spent hours working on. No, you can't. You cannot. And it's on paper? Just like regular paper? What are you doing? I wouldn't want to. Oops, he said, giving me a totally fake look of horror. I think I might have. Give it back, I cried, lunging at him and punching him full in the face. He bellowed like a little girl, fortunately dropping my picture in the process. Unfortunately, however, drawing the attention of Mr. Wilkes, our science teacher, who, unlike Miss Riley, had no sense of coolness whatsoever and didn't appreciate teaching weird girls who refused to model H&M during class. What's going on here? Mr. Wilkes demanded. The crazy freak girl hit me, Billy cried. I squeezed my hands into fists, furious and helpless. If I defended myself, we'd just have to go through this again next time Billy caught me alone. It wasn't worth it. Besides, Mr. Wilkes was Billy's basketball coach. He thought the kid walked on water. There was no chance in hell he'd believe me over his star. Sure enough, Mr. Wilkes didn't even ask for my side of the story. Maddie, I don't know about your old school, but here at Hannah Dustin, we do not hit our classmates, he clarified, as if I had been unsure on the school policy and had just assumed smacking around my fellow students was totally okay with the current administration. Now go down to the principal's office and explain to him what you did. I glanced around at the other kids who formed a curious circle around us. I realized no one present was going to defend truth, justice, or the American way. Lucy and Chelsea were smirking in one corner, enjoying the show. Chad stared at his feet, as per usual. There wasn't a soul here who would speak up on my behalf. Fine, I retorted, grabbing my comics. Your manga. It's not comic trash. I left behind the one Billy had smudged. I'd have to start it all over again anyway. I'm going. But who paints comics of any kind? No, there's no one who does it. You can ink with a brush, sure, but you don't fucking. That's like your blacks. That's not like the whole damn thing with a paintbrush. That's insane. You can't make. That's insane. On paper too. That's insane. Your paper would get so fucking heavy. I can't. We gotta move on. I made it halfway to the principal's office before bumping into Matt. And I mean literally bumping, book dropping and paper scattering full-on collision. I guess in my rage, I hadn't been looking where I was going. Whoa, girl, where's the fire? He asked, bending down to pick up my books. I crouched down to join him, trying not to get stepped on as I grabbed errant papers. Principal's office, I told him, relating what had just happened. Oh, you punched Billy Henderson? He cried, standing up and handing me my books. I took them gratefully. It's about time someone stood up to that guy. Impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, I muttered. Real impressive. It'll be even more impressive when I get to explain to my mom why I got detention. Matt waved his hand.
She's got to understand, though. I mean, it's not like Billy didn't start it by destroying her painting. He's such a jerk.
I sighed. No kidding. I spent so long on it, too. Now I'll have to start all over.
When's it due?
Do? I cocked my head. What do you mean?
Wow, I just figured that it was like for art class or something.
Oh no, I'm creating my own manga. Matt raised an eyebrow.
Manga?
You know, like Japanese-style graphic novel.
Yeah, I know what they are. You're making your own? Like, from scratch?
That's the idea. Also, I don't know if this was like an ebook era, but this formatting, she didn't create a new line for each line of dialogue. They're all smushed together, and it's insane.
Wow, that's hardcore.
He looked impressed. Do you read manga? I asked curiously. It'd be cool to find someone here at Hannah Dustin who was into it. Back home, my friends and I would hold little impromptu book clubs after school to discuss what we'd read. It started with just Caitlin, Ashley, and me, but then other kids found out about it and would crash our meetings. In fact, it became so popular we considered seeing if the school would allow us to form an official club. But then I ended up moving, and the idea fell apart. I thought manga was like supposed to be underground, but it was so popular in your school that okay.
Not really, but I'm totally into comic books and have a bookcase full of graphic novels at home.
Huh. Not exactly the same, but close enough. I knew he had friend potential. Cool, I said. I like some American comics too, though I don't know as much about them as I do the Japanese stuff.
Yeah, well, I'd be happy to bring in some of my favorites if you're interested in checking them out.
I like that, thanks. There you are. A tall, skinny guy with curly red hair walked up to Matt, hands on his hips. I've been looking everywhere for you. Matt grinned at him.
Sorry, I was just helping Maddie with her books.
He turned back to me.
You all set now?
He asked.
I've got to go. Luke and I are going to the library to play video games. He figured out a way to hack into the computers and get by the firewalls they set up.
Fun story. Someone actually did do that at my high school. They managed to install Doom and StarCraft into the shared drive across the school network, so everyone could play that. And it, like, the teachers couldn't figure out how to get rid of it. It stayed up for I think half the school year. It was great. Cool, I said, smiling at the two of them. Wow, comic books and video games. Matt and I had a lot in common. I considered telling him about my Fields of Fantasy adventures, but I was such a gamer noob, I'd probably sound totally poserish to real gamers like him and Luke. Oh, God. Challenging material. I need to get to the principal's office anyway, before I get in worse trouble. Principal's office? Luke repeated. What did you do?
She punched out Billy Henderson,
Matt said, pride in his voice. At least someone thought I was cool. Well, I didn't exactly. Luke looked at me with respect. Very nice, he said.
Indeed,
Matt said, giving me a wink.
Anyway, we catch you later, okay? Hope they take it easy on you.
Thanks, I said. They turned to walk down the hall. I watched them go. Matt was a nice guy. Not boyfriend material exactly, but definitely a new friend. And we all knew how badly I needed one of those. Okay, I think they're done showering now, so peace.